Hello Facebook ads people, I'm Konstantinos and this is the Facebook ads breaking news podcast.
Hello guys, it's podcast 96. Actually, today it was supposed to be the mayhem day, that we were going to have a lot of problems with health and wellness ads and financial and stuff. I see that the sun is still out there, now it's night, so it was an ordinary day. The earth didn't stop rotating, nothing happened. Now, I don't want to be, the kind of person that says that nothing is not going to happen. Maybe it is, but what I want to say is that this is why you see me relaxed and not making these apocalypse videos. Facebook ads are never going to be the same and all of that, because sometimes Meta is announcing stuff and they're not happening at the end of the day. We're going to see what is going to happen, but nothing crazy happened. For example, seeing a lot of ad accounts today getting banned, and I have a lot of ad accounts in health and wellness and stuff like you all do, or your niece is in health and wellness, or we don't know what Meta means by health and wellness, or financial, I have ad accounts. Nothing happened there, guys. So today is the 15th. Maybe there's another announcement that I'm missing because I'm working all day apparently, and right now that I'm preparing the course, it's even harder. But yeah, that's the point. I have nothing else to tell you. Let's discuss a little bit about, because as I told you earlier, we're going to, face this issue where we're going to see it happening, unraveling before our eyes, and then we can take bigger decisions on how we're going to treat it. So nothing happened as I expected. And a lot of times I have done videos saying that this is going to happen and never happened. So I was more careful this time. We're going to see. Health and wellness is a vast niche. I don't think that we're going to have changes that fast. Maybe it's going to be a slower process. But for sure, I haven't seen any banned account or anything. I hope I'm not going to wake up tomorrow into a crazy situation, but nothing has happened. Now, the other thing that I need to say is a little bit about the situation on Facebook ads. It's a good month so far, not bad. We had a very strange weekend at the start of the month, if I remember correctly, the 4th and the 5th. It was okay after that, and now we had some slow 2 days, but not bad, just slow, not devastating bad days like this weekend, the first weekend of January. It's pretty far good across accounts. It's stable. I'm even scaling some that I can, and we're going to see how it's going to close as we go closer to the Chinese New Year and people not shipping. I know some people are already stopping doing ads, so we are going to see the difference. One thing about cost caps, I'm seeing across accounts that the cost caps and the bid caps are slowing down. This is something that we haven't touched a lot in the channel in terms of analyzing cost caps and bid caps, but I'm touching heavily on the course. I cannot do videos on YouTube about that because it's very difficult for me to explain them. I have done some, but it's very difficult for me to explain them. So I'm doing a series of 15 videos of optimizing on different days cost caps and bid caps, and actually discovering the right ones for our accounts. And along with having discussions on the chosen 5, some videos that I'm going to post on the course about it. Keep in mind, because I'm going to be very proud of this course, that you're going to hear a lot from now on for me talking about the course and saying that this is in the course, blah, 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 blah. So cost caps are going to be there, but for those of you that you know already how to do them, keep in mind that they're slowing down, which means that we're going in a period that more people are advertising, and it means that the daily bids that we have on cost caps and bid caps, they're becoming higher. But if you already know the numbers of your cost caps and bid caps into your ad account, there is no point for you to chase the cost caps and the bid caps of the others and start increasing your cost caps and the bid caps so that you can start spending more. What you should do is that you should wait for them to actually stop advertising, so that the bids are going to drop again, and you know that these bids that you have are working for your ad account, so there's no point for you chasing them. You need to wait for the auto correction of the platform to happen anyway, because when more people are advertising on Facebook, the bids are increasing. and this number is dropping down when people stop advertising because they're losing money or whatever. I call them Facebook immigrants. They are the same people that they go to Reddit then to cry and say how bad Facebook it is, but in the first chance they come back to advertise. A bunch of crybabies or people that they have been, disappointed by Meta and they come again and again and they come and leave. Instead of understanding that their numbers are not suitable for that. So when they come and they advertise, even if they are successful for a little bit, then they lose money because they don't have a very big margin to play between being profitable or not being profitable. So that's it with the news and the cost cap big caps. If you have them, you will see that they slow down. Don't try to chase the others by increasing the bid. Try to stay where you are. All of these people that they're advertising more, they're going to leave and we're going to have a new balance. You can also see it in your ad account. If your ad account is booming, you can go for it because you have average results to support it. But if it's just a medium situation in your ad account, don't try to chase them. Eventually they are going to lose their money and they will stop and the numbers are going to go back to normal. This is why Facebook is doing ups and downs, because more people come, then it autocorrects to the numbers that they make sense for most of them and so on. Now, let's go to the questions that you have because there are way too many. And yeah, we have, oh my God, we have so many to reply. So let's see. Okay, now based on that, it says, hello master, stop calling me master, sir, Jedi, ninja, samurai, whatever you might think of. Just call me Konstantinos or K. Some of you call me Dinos because of my mail also, which I don't know, but even Dinos is acceptable, okay? But call me Konstantinos or K or whatever. You don't have to call me master. I know that it sounds funny and stuff, but it makes me feel a little bit strange about it, okay? A creative doesn't perform well in one audience. Is it worth testing it into other audiences? Depends. Are these audiences tested across your other accounts and you have seen that you had good results with other creatives? Then yes. If not, it's just a gamble. It depends on your budget and if you want to explore it. But if there is a creative which is if there is a targeting which is working with other creatives and it's not working with another creative, then you can blame the creative. Would you recommend this approach for scaling, considering that different audiences might respond better to specific creatives? If you have many creatives and many ads, you know already the targeting that's working for you, so you can focus only on new creatives. But on the other hand, blaming the targeting just because you are lazy or because you don't want to pay for other creatives or because you don't want to believe that your creative is wrong, then this is not okay. Actually, today I had an argument. Basically, the owner was with me, but I had an argument with an agency that was doing creatives. So while we were having a campaign that I tested them with crazy method and I test fast, they said that this creative hasn't been tested efficiently. So I said, okay, I'm going to put it, how many days do you want to test it? Because I knew. They said minimum 5 days. So spending $500, 100 per day, and I did only one ad set because I know that they disagree with the crazy method and the different hot pockets and stuff, and they will say that the budget has been split and all of these things. And while this ad set was having 50 or $45 CPM, while another ad set was having $45 CPM and having 2 ROAS, they couldn't still admit that these creatives were not good, while it was the same structure, it was the same targeting, it was the same CPM, but this one was actually having 0 results, like 0 sales, okay? And they were not admitting, and they were saying that the other one was actually having 2 sales which are attributed because of the 7 days click 1 day view. It was attributed from the view. So this doesn't mean that it's a better creative. Okay, but how much more spend do we need to have in order for you to decide that it's not a good creative? Because we have spent originally 200, 300 in the first campaign and then another 500. And after 800, you don't want to admit that this creative is not having any ROAS or any sales. You're saying that the creative is good just to protect your work. and you don't admit that there's another creative with exactly the same targeting as CPM and all of that, that's having 2 ROAS. Well, this is stupid. And this is the biggest mistake of agencies or whatever, that they focus on creatives and all of that, because they just say, test it, and you end up testing, losing money, and forgetting the main thing, which is making money. Because if you're just losing all of your money on testing and you're just not making anything, just because you want to test every single ad efficiently and as much as you can, then you're going to lose money. Instead of that, I have ways like the crazy method of testing it faster, approaching it with more and different hot pockets if they are going to be formed and stuff, doing it already as a structure with other creatives that are working. So don't tell me that it wasn't tested efficiently and you need me to spend another $500 so that you can be convinced or whatever, because now there's a whole of $500. Who is going to pay for that? The owner is going to pay for that. Anyway, and then they were saying some things like, the CTR though is good. I don't understand this mindset of CTR. Why are we focusing so much on CTR when the CTR is actually a little bit influenced by the CPM? And by that, I'm not saying that they are going together, but I'm saying that if we have a CPM of $100 and we are targeting only 100 people, we are reaching only 100 people, the CTR could easily be 5%. This doesn't say anything about the CTR, that your click-through rate is good, because your CPM is very high, so you're targeting less people. 5%, it's 5 people in 100 people. If you have a CPM of 10 and you have 10 times more the people that targeted, it's 1,000 people that you reached, then having 5% over there, it's how much? It's 50 people. Okay, so is it 50? It's 50 people, yes. Having 50 people targeting in 1,000 people, it's much more difficult from having 5 people clicking in 100 people. Why nobody is not understanding that and we're still focusing on CTR? Do you know when you can compare CTR? When you have 2 ads that they're having same or similar CPM, like 15, 20, 30, okay, whatever that may be, and then you compare the CTR between these 2 creatives. So you see, in one I'm getting 1.5, in the other one I'm getting 0.8. So I know that the 1.5 is better from the other because they are having the same CPM. Just seeing, okay, 3% CTR is good. How? With what kind of CPM? Comparing it to what? You know, that's a mindset of people not thinking. They're just following some numbers without understanding what they are explaining. CTR is the percentage of people clicked. Okay, if you're just targeting 10 people and you have 10% CTR, which is considered crazy, okay, it's one person clicked. I don't know how else to put it so that you can understand. Anyway, I have a question. Even with a trend pixel, can campaigns that perform well for 2-3 months suddenly stop working without scaling the budget? And if I'm optimizing by turning off 2 ads in 50 ABO, is it even worth lowering the budget in this scenario? Well, it depends your cost per purchase about the second question. If your cost per purchase is 80 or 70 or 50 or 40, then I guess it doesn't make sense to lower, and it depends also how many more ads you are leaving there. If you have a $10 cost per purchase, for example, you can easily lower the budget in a $50 ABO. Hope it makes sense. Now, about even with a trend pixel and campaigns losing performance and all of that, yes, it can easily happen if you have a bad period. Now, I have the luxury of looking many accounts, so I know if it's a bad period across the board or it's just the ad account. So if it's across the board, I'm going to wait, and I have videos on the channel about bad periods. But to be honest with you, sometimes you might end up leaving your campaigns for longer because of that, but still it can happen, and yes, these campaigns can actually recover. It's something that I have seen many times. I was actually discussing with one of my friends, Beam, today, that basically we had a period in the previous spring on, or it was with Chosen 5 student, I don't remember, that we had a period that we did have on the previous March, on 2024, 30 days of a bad period, which was really strange because most of the times it's 7 days, maximum 14 days that you will see bad results, and then we have the auto correction that we said on the beginning. So it was pretty strange over there and a little bit of intimidating, even for me that I'm experienced to maintain budgets and stuff, because it was looking like nothing was doing well, you know, and you didn't know what to do at that point. And what did I do? The videos that we have on my YouTube channel about promotions, you know, when you find a difficult situation and you cannot overcome it, you just inflate your system with data so that you can overcome the competition. I have videos about that on the channel. Master, may I speak? Oh, okay. Are campaigns with a lot of conversions and data more likely to recover and improve results comparing to campaigns that don't have as much conversion history? Yes, they're more likely to recover. And that's why what I mentioned earlier is that in these bad periods, for example, if you do a promo and you inflate your campaigns with data, they are recovering. And I'm proving this with different accounts. There are videos, I think there is a video which is called how to overcome bad periods with a sales promo or whatever, something like that. Go and watch them and you will see that this is answering also your question about having more data. The more data that it has, the better it is for it to actually be able to overcome a bad period. Do you believe in the philosophy of relying solely on broad targeting and letting the algorithm handle optimization? 100%. I'm doing it in my bigger accounts and stuff. Or do you think a more manual targeting approach with layered audiences specific interests is better? What's your argument for or against its method? There's no argument against its method, proving that it's good or bad. Basically, what I'm doing is that I'm using everything. The thing is that the mistake over here is to say that I'm going to use broad targeting everywhere. Maybe you should not. Maybe you should just do interest targeting to train your pixel and then move to something else. It doesn't mean that necessarily you have to go to broad targeting. Is it your ultimate goal eventually to go to broad targeting? Yes, 100%. But can you always go there? Can you start with a new pixel, for example, and start advertising immediately with broad targeting and ASC campaigns in the United States? The answer is no, most of the times. I have seen only one other account in my life starting immediately. The product was a killer product and it started having sales immediately. So both of these options are there and they are working pretty well for specific cases. Can you do broad targeting, for example, in Switzerland, which is a very small country since day one? Yes, because just the full potential reach over there is just a small interest in the United States, if you think of it. So all of these are good as long as you're running ads and you're comparing your CPMs and you're seeing which one is the most cost efficient way, but not only comparing CPMs, but also seeing where you're getting sales, because sometimes you're getting sales on the higher CPMs while the lower CPMs are not giving sales, which means that it defeats the whole purpose to run the lower CPM and just try to get them to give you sales just because it's a cheaper traffic. Hey, just to confirm, you're using a structure like broad targeting with 100 budget, 3 assets, advanced plus audience off, and automatic placements off. Would applying the same structure to a different audience work the same way? Different audience work the same way. And if you're using the same structure, is it acceptable to test it with different creatives? If you're using a structure like broad targeting with this, okay, and automatic placements, would applying the same structure to a different audience work the same way? But this is the audience. So what you're doing with advanced plus audience, you mean with audience on, advanced plus audience on, because what you're actually asking here is advanced plus audience off, automatic placements off, would apply the same structure to different audience work the same way. If you're mentioning about creatives, then it's a very valid way for you to test creatives like this because you have something that's already working. If you're talking about having advanced plus audience on, you never know and you have to test it because it's completely different when you have off and advanced plus audience on. If you ask something else, it doesn't make sense. If you're using the same structure, is it acceptable to test it with different creatives? Yes, 100%. We do this all the time in my ways with the one variable rule. That means that you're using a completely proven structure and you're changing the creatives so that you will know that if the creatives are going to work, then if the creatives are not going to work, then you can blame the creatives because the structure is already working on the ad account. Next one, if your ad account is close to break-even ROAS, spending 100 to 200 per day and only 1.6 plus ROAS is profitable, should you consolidate the budget into one high-performing campaign to stabilize results before improving the website or creatives for better scaling? What's the best way to approach scaling in this situation? First of all, I'm very proud of you for your way of thinking. Why? Because you're not saying how can I. Some people would say I'm close to profitable ROAS, blah blah. How can I make it profitable? Like there's a complete solution. So what you're asking here is, should I run 2 campaigns or 1 campaign while I'm working on fixing my numbers so that I can be having more friendly numbers, so that I can improve my ROAS with the numbers of my business and then try to scale. In my opinion, on this situation, you need a low maintenance campaign until you do all of your changes. So what I would do is that, yes, I would consolidate in one. Now, in case that you consolidate to one and you see that it's not working because it's a higher budget spent on one campaign, or you're not able to optimize it because of your skill set or your patience or your experience, then you can work also with 2. But the ideal scenario would be a low maintenance one campaign until you fix the numbers and the problems that you have on the store and the numbers of the business. Hello Konstantinos, I was wondering if I could get your opinion on this topic. I would really appreciate it. I've been running a CBO with one ad set that's performing really well, spending a few $1,000s profitably at 400 per day. Perfect. CBO with one ad set. Since there is only one ad set, the campaign hasn't had to optimize budget allocation between ad sets, correct? I know you mentioned it's usually not a good idea to increase the budget on a working CBO with multiple assets, but do you think it's still risky in case there is only one asset? No, it's not that risky, but we need to know also the balances into your ad level and if the increase of the budget is going to change the balances there, which is one thing that you need to see. If you have a very strong dominant ad also on the ad level, or if you just have one ad, then basically nothing changes and you can treat this campaign like an ABO, okay? But if you just have 2 or 3 ads that are taking budget, which I doubt it, but there are some cases, on this single ad set CBO, then you have to take this into consideration. Maybe it's going to change the balances between the ads, the extra budget that you're going to put. Also, what's your opinion about creating the exact copy, also with the same budget, of this campaign when scaling? You can always scale like this. You can always scale by increasing the budget. You can always scale by doing this campaign with cost caps and try to see if you can scale it from there. There are several ways that you can try, or you can do another campaign with other creatives and all of that, okay? In order for you to be able to scale. Konstantinos, I have noticed that I get very good ROAS on my CBO, specifically in the evening, late evening hours. Do you think it's a good idea to decrease the budget in the low performing hours in which I don't get many sales? For example, at night or in the morning, or would it disrupt the CBO optimization? I usually get very low ROAS until 5-6 p.m. and then it just skyrockets. I have already searched this topic in your videos, but I couldn't find it. Yeah. So, let me tell you how this goes. And I know it from my own e-commerce store back in the day, but also from some dropshippers that they have a specific strategy. So there is a dropshipping group, I'm not going to give names and stuff, that they're doing this. They're just running some ads for 2-3 hours. If they don't get a sale, they close the ad, and then they only take the ads that they are just having sales, and then they increase the budget by 2 times, or they duplicate them 3 times. There are different strategies to that. And what I have noticed is that because these ads are getting sales at the start of the day, then when they stay on the ad account, because they were fortunate enough to get some sales at the start of the day, they continue having sales at the start of the day, even on the other period that they are running for 24 hours, 48 hours and like this, but they have optimized to people that they are actually buying in the mornings. Now, if you have a campaign, and this is something that I was noticing back in the day when I was having my own e-commerce store and I was running ads, and I could see that if one campaign was actually converting in the evening, then it was converting after that point also in the evening. Most likely, this is how I started thinking about things like hot pockets and stuff. The same way that when a campaign is optimizing for low AOV, it continues with low AOV if you have fluctuation in your AOV orders within your store. The same thing is happening also on campaigns when they're actually having a sale on the evening, and then you keep having sales from the evening. Why? Because Facebook is working with consistent sales, and then it's going to get another person like the previous that bought. So what if in the morning, for example, there is a mom that has sent the kids to the school and she has time now for herself and she buys? That profile is going to bring other moms, creating a hot pocket for that. So it makes sense that you are going to see patterns with your ads. That's why we always want to run our ads for 24 hours, 48 hours and all of that, so that we can spread sales if it's possible. But if you're having lower budgets over here, if you're having lower budgets like getting 1-2 sales per day, and then you just got your first sales on the evening, it makes total sense that the next sales are going to continue happening on the evening. Now, it's in the human nature to think that you're spending, that there's no reason for you to spend money on the other hours of the day. But let me tell you that this is not the behavior of your product or your store. This is just a behavior that happened because the first initial sale happened on an hour that optimized the randomness of the initial result, okay? So it optimized for a person that buys in the evening, for example, because he's working a 9-to-5 job, so they buy after they finish the job. So it goes with similar people like that, and it continues like this. And this is something that most of the times we see on lower budgets, where we can see 1 or 2 sales and then we can see this pattern. But when we have a lot of spend, because the budget is being spent across all the day, what is happening is that we see sales scattered across the day, and of course having more sales during the prime hours. I hope that this helps to explain why this is happening to you. Next one. Hi Konstantinos, thank you for another great video. I wanted to ask how much would you recommend to increase a campaign daily budget by percentage for, let's say, cost per purchase of 10 to 20 USD, and what do you recommend the minimum daily budget for a campaign for business ad account with cost per purchase of 10 to 20 USD? Thank you. So for 10 to 20 USD, I'm not going to lie, I have done campaigns with 50 per day. I'm not going to say that it's necessary for you to have $100 per day like in other cases. I have done 50 per day. So increase your budget. 20% makes no sense in this kind of numbers with this kind of small spends, because the 20% is about you passing the learning phase or whatever. I don't believe in the learning phase, as I have said several times, and that is just a gamification and just a way for Meta to make you spend more, so that you can feel that you're completing a quest, you know. What I would do is that I would increase 2 times or 3 times my average cost per purchase in these specific cases, because there is no point of using the 20% rule when you have never passed the learning phase. So even if you believe in the learning phase, you never pass the learning phase with these budgets, so there's no point of you increasing stupidly with 20%. Hope it makes sense. I hope this message finds you well. I'm good, a little bit stressed with the course, but I will manage. I wanted to get your opinion on the topic I'm currently exploring, and I really value your insights, for sure. Guys, thank you so much for the love, okay? Your messages are so gentle and stuff. I really thank you for that. I appreciate it. I typically run, not only for that, just because you never answer to me, you never ask me with a way that you do think that I'm obliged to answer, which I'm not. And thank you very much for respecting my time and all of that. That's why I'm always trying to, to do the podcast and answer as many questions as I can. I typically run ads for clients with smaller ticket items priced between 50 to 100. In those cases, the ROAS varies around businesses, and I've developed a general approach for scaling and structuring campaigns. Okay. Smaller ticket is not on the hundreds, but okay. However, I'm not working with a client whose average order value is significantly higher, ranging from 700 to 7K. I was wondering how you would adjust your strategy in terms of scaling a campaign structure for such a big ticket client. He sells organically, which is good. So if he sells organically, you kind of know his AOV, okay, which is very important metric to start from. Because if you know the AOV, you kind of calculate the amount that you need to spend, okay? So let's say that he has an AOV of 800. I would do a campaign initially the best structure for these accounts is ASC, because if it works, because the ASC is going to be better in terms of distribution of the budget to a dominant ad on the ad level. So you can start a 400, 500 campaign immediately over there with many ads, and it's going to distribute to one ad which is going to have enough spend in order to do so. If ASC is not working, you have to go with CBO. Here, let's say that we have $7 cost per page. I would try to go with a spend of 505 ads, give or take, go with 100, but this is coming with experience, okay? Then I will see results. I will decide if I will have to go more or less, distribution of budget, CPMs. There's so many things. The only thing that I can tell you for high ticket items and items that they have fluctuation in AOV is that you have to be more flexible. So a lot of times you can see me being more aggressive into smaller AOV order stores in their other accounts, but in these other accounts I might not touch it for 6 days, 5 days, 7 days, because just one sale is really significant, and if it comes one sale with 5K, then that means that you might recover for all the other days. So you have to be more flexible in the way that you're treating these other accounts and the way that you do it. And there are other accounts that I'm optimizing like this, and I can tell you that the less proactive you are in these accounts, because you have sales coming later and increasing your AOV or your ROAS, the better it is. Also understanding that there are people that they need a bigger period of time in order to understand if they will buy or not. So you're going to wait more, you're going to see more the checkouts, you're going to play like this, and of course you're going to have higher budgets. You're not going to start $100 campaign in the same way that you would start $100 campaign if you were selling something for $30 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80, but you will have to start bigger budget campaigns like 400, 300, 500, and this is how you need to start and sell in these ad accounts. Of course, it's difficult because you will have to get outside of your comfort zone and go do the extra mile of learning how to operate in this kind of environment. But yeah, you get my point. Phew, I think I was really fast, but I don't have a lot of time. So I hope that I replied in everything over here. Also, my new notes over here are bigger. So I thought that there are more questions from the ones that they were actually, because I delegated this job to my lovely Natalia. And when I was doing them on my own, here we have 2 questions. Maybe I would put here 6 questions, 7 questions in one. So now I have seen many papers and I panicked, so I tried to do it fast, but I think that we did only 1 hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we did only 1 hour, so it's perfect. And that's all, guys. I will see you on the next one. This is the end of the first part of the Facebook Ads Breaking News podcast. If you don't want to miss the second half of the podcast, where I'm answering all the remaining questions of the week, visit my Patreon page following the link on the description. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.